All right, so this is for anyone else out there who has a narcissistic mother. My mom's a really nasty covert narcissist. You wouldn't know that she's a narcissist until the mask slips off, and then she's a monster. One of the things is that I talk about this with my next door neighbor, and one of the reasons that it struck me so hard that he died. My mom handed over his corn pouch to me because that was something she got from his mom. And I don't think she wanted it in the house, and she gave it to me saying that it's something that I would like as a memento. She didn't want the memento to look at it herself in the mirror because she facilitated in putting him down. Basically, I know she helped kill him, because when I had gotten out of jail, the guy's name was Dax. Dax wanted me to go to Oklahoma with him because his sister was in a bad way. She was doing the same stuff as him at the time, Oxycontin. And she had a boyfriend that was like stealing her phone and selling it for dope, and slammed a door in her face and caused stitches and stuff like that. And he was like distraught, trying to get me to go to Oklahoma to go handle this guy in a nice way. He basically said he wanted to go kill the fucking guy. And he was trying to drag me in, and I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not a killer, right? And so he goes and he wanted me to go down to Cali, where he lived, where I grew up. And then we were going to drive over to Oklahoma. That was his plan. But he was telling me over the phone, and I just got out of jail. I was sitting in a house that I'd gotten into with 4 military guys, right? And so I had four military guys in the Navy that were nice enough to let me into a home. And then this kind of shit gets brought in. And I'm like, what in the fuck is happening here, right? So shortly after that, he died. And one of the things that mom was having a conversation with me right after, like at the time she told me he died, and she got kind of nasty. The mask slipped off. She just says, nobody messes with my son, and got nasty. And that was kind of like a nice little howdy do, hello. I'm one of the culprits that help facilitate in that. And so when I say that female covert narcissists have ways to become assassins and kill men, especially men, like I said, one of the things that they do is they'll hook a man up with a woman, then love bomb him just about to death, because you love bomb them, you devalue them, and then discard them. And that causes massive pain, because when you love bomb someone, you are taking the dopamine cycle and you are hijacking it. So you're hijacking their feel-good hormones in their body. And when you do drugs like heroin, the same thing happens. And so at the same time, he was going from Vicodin to Oxycontin to heroin. And so his girlfriend at the time was a cop's daughter. Of all things, she was a cop's daughter, and they were doing heroin together, from what I understand. But he got cut off of his heroin and was doing Suboxone, trying to quit, but he was drinking at the same time. And his girlfriend, he basically lost his girlfriend at the same time. So all this mess happened all at once, right? Where he's trying to get off the heroin, trying to get off the girlfriend. And so he was taking Suboxone. I said, do not take any heroin with that. I said, don't do that, because he's drinking too on top of it. And so, it's hard for him to quit, probably with all the pain and suffering he was dealing with, psychological trauma. He ended up, having drank and Suboxone, and probably did some heroin or some Oxycontin, and all that together was too much for him. And he ended up dying sitting up, holding the pipe, smoking, which is kind of crazy, that because a lot of times, from what I understand, usually people who nod off and don't wake up is from shooting it up, right? And then they don't breathe, they don't wake up. And so he probably drank so much that he had the same effect, because he was a big drinker. So between probably the Suboxone, the drinking, and probably smoking whatever he was smoking is what put him down, because that's how they found him. That's how his mom found him. And then my mom had to come over there and take a peek at what was going on too. But I can tell you right now that from my mom's reaction, she said nobody messes with my son during that conversation, that she had a part in it, right? And she's never gonna admit that, obviously, because it's basically fucking murder. But at the same time, I have to look at the way she's acting right now. Somehow she knows exactly when I'm at a point where I'm not doing well, I'm emotional. She doesn't want me to be successful, right? She's at the point where she's trying to do the same thing to me. So there's a time where she came up to visit me and brought her Oxycontin prescription, was like, here you go. And so she tried to do the same thing. And the reason I'm not dead is because I got to see the pattern in which these women, these covert narcissists, tried to do the same thing to me that they did to Dax, right? And so that was something that makes me teary-eyed every time I think about it, going, like, I wish I could say thank you to Dax for saving my life, because I never would have been wise enough or had the foresight to see how this method works. And so I want to tell you and share this with everyone who's out there, because this is something that you won't see or hear about unless you have almost become a victim to this sort of situation, or you're the culprit, right? And so the thing is that to be a culprit in this situation, you have to be a female covert narcissist, essentially. So this is one of the main strategies that they use to put people down. And you know, my mom's been very vindictive towards me for, I don't know, years now, and it's mostly because I don't like talking to her. She's essentially turned into everything she hates in her mother, and that's one of the problems that I'm seeing right now, is that the older, like I was saying before in another video, the older that they get, as far as narcissists go, the worse they become, because they don't have as much energy to hide that mask, or to keep the mask on all the time. And so, you know, I had a difficult moment this morning where things didn't go the way that I had expected them to, and the way that, you know, should have gone that way. And so when I tell you that my mom likes to take, she's like, I don't know, she's probably has a way to monitor me through these people, these other people. And so what I'm telling you is that she delights in my pain and suffering. So she wants to come over and try and stick a knife in my neck whenever there's an open wound. And I can see that she probably did the same thing to Dax. You know, like rodents, right? They'll go swarm a piece of cheese. And so if she can't get positive energy out of me, like a covert narcissist, she'll go for the negative energy. And that's what she's been trying to draw out of me at any given point in time. Because she might message me maybe once or twice a week at the most. And so for her to kind of try to hit me right now is pretty much an obvious attack, the way that she had done it. And I can tell you right now, this is one of the things that a covert narcissist will do. They will sit there and monitor you like a weird fucking person, like a weirdo. They have nothing better to do than sit there and monitor their target and fuck with them. And so this is what she's doing right now. I can tell you that she's got some way to monitor me, whether it be through other people, however the fuck she's doing it. I'm like halfway around the world, and she's probably still found some fucked up way to monitor me. My point is that this is what these sick fuckers do, right? They won't let you go. They want to monitor you. They want to fuck with you. She still wants to know where I'm at. I won't tell her. She probably knows, because she's disgusting in many different ways that I will not say out loud. So that's what they want to do. They want to monitor, control you, because that's their main goal. It's the thing that they want to do. They want to monitor, control, figure you out, take advantage of you, add you to their little narcissist cult, or whatever you want to call it. They're flying monkeys, they're minions. And the thing is that she will wait for the right time to stick the knife in an open wound so she can get some energy out of it, right? That's that whole vampiric, narcissistic supply that they want. And I've noticed that she's been doing that more and more frequently, because I don't call her and talk to her, because that's what she wants to do. And she's always wants to get on the phone and gossip and talk shit about other people. That's something that I've noticed about my family, is that they used to do that in Thanksgiving and Christmas. They'd all have like one fucking target that they'd all want to talk about, that they'd all be teaming up on to try and fuck with. And it might be a friend, it might be a family member, and it's like, why the fuck are you doing this to this particular person? I never understood why. It was like the step mom, the grandma, step grandma. It'd be like grandpa on one side or the other. Or if someone didn't show up to the hate meeting, whatever event that might be, whatever Christmas event or Thanksgiving event it might be, New Year's or whatever, if you didn't show up to the family unit event, then you might be the target. You might be the next target of hate and harassment. And so I remember seeing that as I was growing up, and that was normal to me until I realized that it was not normal and what the fuck is going on. So then I kind of stopped going to those events and kind of became the black sheep of the family, because not something I want to participate in. Didn't want to participate in these hate meetings where they wanted to figure out how to fuck somebody up for no reason beyond what anything I would know about. And so my brother recognized that too, and he didn't like it either. He was like, what the hell is going on here? And so we both kind of had to talk about that, and we figured that it was just unhealthy family. And so right now what I'm dealing with is essentially the same thing that my mom probably had done to Dax. And so I'm calling it out because she tried, I'm sure that she tried to do the same thing to Dax. I'm pretty sure that Dax became an addict one way or another, not by her, but I wouldn't be surprised if she hadn't given him some supply to keep him addicted, and for her to have that reaction, nobody messes with my son, shows that she had some interest in the end result, which was his death. And I've never really shared this with hardly anybody online or anything like that, because it's like, fuck, this is my mom, right? This is my mom. How am I supposed to fucking tell people this? It's one of those things like, how do you tell the woman of your dreams, people that you love, people that you want to get close to, your friends, your family, or anyone else that you want to have a meaningful relationship, that you have people in your family that are fucking nightmares, right? And you've tried to get away from them as best as you can and distance yourself, but they're narcissists. They want to monitor and control you and try and keep you in their fucking net, in their spider web, right? Because that's what they do. So I hope that what I'm saying right now will resonate with someone, and maybe will give them that final push to get the fuck away from the people that are really not good for them, and to look at themselves and see if there's anything that is not good in who they are as a person either. I mean, I can't say I'm perfect, but I don't want to be like my parents, we'll put it that way. Seeing the way that they've been and the way that they've treated me and the way that I need to get away from them, and as well as from anybody else who tries to behave this way, like cult wise, and trying to make you feel like you're the fucking bad guy, right? The worst part is when someone's doing you wrong and they're trying to make you feel like you're the fucking bad guy. That's one of the things, is that she wants to put out these covert phrases, right at a point in time where I'm sensitive and vulnerable, that are meant to trigger me, and then she'll probably go back, because she lives in my hometown still, and we'll be like, oh, look at how he treated me so poorly, and this, that, and the other thing. He's like, no, I'm defending myself from you because you're trying to harm me emotionally. And that's why I have to block her. I have to block her phone number. I have to make sure that I don't get her text messages. And I've had to do this already once before for months, because she got caustic and she was trying to attack me that way. And the most I will do with her is basically text message her at this point. And she told me a long time ago I needed to have a healthy distance away from someone else that was a narcissist. I didn't realize she was also a narcissist, because she's very covert about it. She's hard to spot. But after I realized she had killed one of my friends, and she's almost 70 now, it's hard for her to hide how much of a fucking monster she is. Anyways, this is something that people need to take in consideration, that a covert narcissist will sit there, monitor you, not you will never know until they try to stick the knife in an open wound, right? And so I want you to understand that is something very important. She also told me never go to war with my dad, because my dad's a grandiose narcissist. I realized she was probably talking about herself too, because she's equally as bad. She'll do all kinds of, like, you could call it unrestricted warfare, in that she'll do all kinds of stuff to harm you psychologically. Obviously she did it bad enough to put my buddy in the ground. So and who knows, I had a lot of friends die. That might be one of, I don't know how many, right? I don't know who she is really. When I look at her, I don't even know. I know her as mom, but who knows? Who knows what the other side really is? And so this is my life. This is one of the things, when you're a chosen one, these are the things that you have to go through, you have to endure. I had some things that happened to me when I was a kid that I'd rather not really say out loud or explain. But like they always say, that kids have chosen ones have traumatizing experiences in their family when they're kids and on the way up. they become adults. And in reality, I kind of was blanked out for a lot of my childhood. I kind of partied and made it a point to forget some of the things that I'd rather not mention now that I had to kind of pull out of my memory later on in life. And that was a good coping strategy, to have been able to have blacked it out early on, and later on be able to revisit it when I was more mature and understanding. But you know, they have these mentalities in psychology where you have these generational curses where the parents will do something to their kids, and then the kids will continue on doing that same horrendous thing to their children, and it's the generational curse. That's not true, right? That's something that they say there's a propensity for that happening, but it's not true. You know, there's an exception to the rule, and there's people out there who just like fervently hate what was done to them as a child and would never do that to someone else. And that's when I think about that, it makes me mad, because there's things that psychology will say that are true in the way things are, but they'll sit there and they'll tell you that this is what happens in the majority of the time, but they won't tell you that there's exceptions to the rule like that. And so sometimes you, as a person in a struggling situation like this, you can't even fucking share it, because then what? They're gonna try and, you know, it puts you in a category. It's fucked up. It puts you in a category, right? It's like, both my parents are narcissists. What does that mean about me? Because it's a generational curse, you know? It's one of those things where, okay, so now am I one, right? But the thing is that if you're a narcissist, you don't ever ask if you are one, because you don't care. You never have that kind of self-conscious awareness, right? Unless someone calls you out on it and you become aware of the signs and symptoms of it. And that's really essentially the worst part about it, is that the people who have struggled with narcissistic parents, a lot of times they just have to sit there and suffer, suck it up, and you know, suffer in silence, as they say. And that's really a sad case for people who have gone through such a traumatizing series of events, to where they have to sit there in silence and suck it up. But anyways, I hope some of these signs and symptoms of what you would call covert narcissism help save someone's life, or get them out of the situation they're in, put them in a better circumstance. And, you know, sorry I unloaded like this on you if you didn't want to hear it, or if you shut off early and you haven't gotten to this point, you know, and you're never going to hear me apologize because you just didn't want to hear it. You know, I hope this helps one person out there figure things out and get them away from the mess that could be something that they would sit through in the future, that they're able to get out of now. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.